Welcome back to the Javelina 100 presented by Hoka. I'm Chris Warden.
And I'm Rachel Jundred, and today we're interviewing the legendary Addie Bracy, who is at her first Javelina.
So, Addie, with this being your first time at Javelina, what were your first impressions when you pulled up, when you walked up, of the scene behind us here as it unfolds? Is there anything that you've experienced that compares to what you've seen out here so far today?
No, not really. It's kind of, maybe a little bit like Twin Lakes at Leadville where people just kind of camp out and it's just good energy all day. But, honestly, my first impression or consideration, my last 200s were High Lonesome and UTMB, and the crewing is so stressful and hard that I'm like, oh, my crew's just going to chill. So that's kind of nice to almost remove that entire variable from the equation. Is pretty cool. So I'm excited about that.
And then speaking of High Lonesome, how has because that race, I did it myself and it takes quite a bit out of you. So how has your training been pivoting to such a different style of running?
Yeah, you kicked my butt. My problem there was actually altitude sickness from the elevation. And so I think I had this race on my schedule and I actually was pretty sure I wasn't going to do it because I thought high-low would kind of kick my butt. It was brutal, but because I walked a lot, I actually recovered pretty quickly. And so within a week or two was like, I think I'm going to do it. And the running and flat stuff with my background is more suited for me. So it comes a little more naturally. So it was kind of an easier turnaround than maybe the other direction. Mountain stuff's a little harder for me.
And then kind of on that same topic because I also live in Colorado and I know that the weather is quite different than what you've probably been training. So how have you been kind of mitigating that heat training?
Yeah, I've been trying. I did some sauna training. I didn't do a ton of heat running necessarily. There's already so many extra stressors training so high, where I live, that I did a little bit. But I did heat train in the sauna quite a bit. I do feel pretty adapted. And I think mostly for me, it's just going to be more cooling strategy than anything, is just making sure I stay on top of that.
Yeah, I think that one of the things that people don't understand about this race is that, you see the elevation profile and it's 7,000-8,000 feet of climb, which isn't a ton. But the start or the finisher rate is actually quite low for the quote difficulty of this race. Overall it's in the mid 60s most years. And a lot of that has to do with inability to have a solid heat mitigation strategy and not staying on top of your nutrition. How much have you focused on adjustments for nutrition if you're from Colorado? This is a completely different environment to run in than you've probably done in quite a while.
It is, and where I live is kind of high desert. It is really dry, and it is still kind of has been pretty hot. We haven't had a ton of snow yet, which has been nice. It did snow, I think, today. So it doesn't feel wildly different. And again, I think the main thing is, for me, not always being so diligent, is I'm planning to still pretend like it's 100 degrees in terms of cooling, starting with ice and just, I think it's with the desert and it not being humid. It feels hot out, but in the shade, it's not that bad. So I think if you're just smart and take the time and stay wet, and if you have a disco shirt / Nike Radical Airflow like I have, you got some advantages. So yeah, I think you just have to be smart. I'm staying with Will Murray, and we were talking yesterday, or last week actually, we went for a run and we both were just because it's not as hot as it was last year, it just means we're going to be able to run faster. It doesn't mean you do any less. You still drink as much, you still cool as much. And so I just have to remember that. And I think that will probably be a big factor for a lot of people is, being diligent, even though it's not as hot, it's still hot.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm interested because that was one of the topics with the pre-race show was are people going to take it's not as hot and be foolish? So yeah. I'm happy to hear that you're not going to do that.
That's my plan now. We'll see. We'll see how I execute.
Yeah, I have a question about the Sawash 50-50 that you just did. Was that a strategic race that you picked kind of with this in the back of your mind, or was that just hey, this is in my backyard and I want to do this race?
Both. I love Caleb and Kelsey. I love their races. I wanted to, it timed right to do a big back-to-back weekend. The first day is honestly probably, those trails is probably pretty comparable to this. The second day's not, but it's still a hard 5.5 hours. And so I figured it would just be better than doing long runs on my own. And it felt like a pretty good stimulus. And I, 250 Ks in 24 hours and I recovered pretty quick. So it was kind of strategic.
I figured it might be because those, the Westline Winder courses, I thought pretty
very similar.
Yeah. So, all right, cool.
So, you're coming here to race Javelina. I'm sure you've got a team, crew, pacers. Who's with you, and what is their role?
I have 2 crew and I have a friend racing, and we have a tent, and he'll be here and his wife, and then I have a buddy over standing in the corner, Luke, who lives in Leadville, and then another friend coming out from Truckee that'll crew and then each do a lap with me. So yeah, it should be fun. He crewed me at High Lonesome and saw me at my worst, so he deserves to see me at my best tomorrow, which is my plan.
Are they going to be able to stay in line and keep focused on you with all of the chaos going on?
They better.
Yeah, that's the whole point. I have questions about the gear. I mean, particularly, I'm like low-key obsessed with that Nike shirt.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, what is your plan for, like, are you using a pack? Are you doing handholds? What kind of gear are you using? That kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'll do just handhelds and a belt. And yeah, I do have a nice little nerdy ice hat with a neck thing in the back that I'll wear and swallow my pride because I think they look so dorky. But the shirt, the Radical Airflow, it's like real technology. Like, I feel like they almost didn't release so much about it when it first debuted, like what it actually does. But it causes the air to hit you like more straight on versus kind of streamlining around your skin. So I even made all my people I was staying with last night like put their arm in it, and if you just go like this, it feels like AC is like blowing on you. So I've never raced in it. I've worn it around my house some and like kind of tested it a little bit, so it's somewhat new to me, but I think some legit people have had really good races in hot weather, and it feels like something that's I don't want to say an advantage, but like a technology that works.
It seems fascinating.
Yeah.
I mean, watching Caleb
Yeah.
crush it and like seemingly stay pretty cool at States this year was interesting. Does it work if you have a pack? I would guess it's less effective.
I think he wore a pack for some of it, but yeah, if it's blocking the holes, I think a lot of, Radical Airflow, like it needs air to work. And so I don't love a vest anyway, but I think that would probably impede its effectiveness a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that one of the things that like you said, it was kind of lost on, the technology was lost on people because of the striking visual nature
Oh,
of
it's so awesome though. I would wear that to like the mall or something, just like walking down, like on a date. I just think it's a really cool fashion piece. I like it.
It is, yeah, fishnet.
With all we talked about and everything that is going into this weekend, what would whether it be Saturday night, Sunday morning, what does a good Javelina 100 weekend look like for you? I.e., what makes you happy with what happens this year, whether it be a certain time, certain place, golden ticket? What is it that you're looking for here this weekend that you could say, I'm happy with that?
I mean, I think any of those things you mentioned, like a golden ticket, a podium, would be the product of me executing a good day. I've really struggled the last few years, and I think a lot of it was I love the mountains. I want to be a mountain runner, and I think I will be, but I'm not naturally. And so, UTMB was really hard for me, and high-low, the altitude was really hard for me. And at my core, I'm a runner. I'd had a long career on the track and roads before I ever did a trail race. And so it's kind of felt in some ways like coming back home, like I know how to run. And I think if I can walk away and not have like some catastrophic like sleep deprivation and, vomiting like I had in other races, and just feel like I put together a good day, I'll be really happy with that. And I think if I do that, I do think it will also be a good day. Okay. So I haven't put together a good 100 in a while. So I'm excited to maybe make this the one.
So it sounds like sticking the landing is the most important thing, regardless of what everything else that happens around you.
Yeah.
Well, Addie, thanks for joining us. Is there anything else that you needed? Or? Okay.
I'm excited to watch you.
Yeah,
Addie,
I'm glad you're not racing.
Best of luck.
Me too. Trust me.
Best of luck this weekend, and we'll see you out there.
Thank you.
Thank you.